I kind of want to get to know you a little bit. I know that you started your career as a dancer and now you are
Mm.
acting and producing and doing all kinds of fun stuff. So what was it like kind of going from a dancer to the acting world and now where you're at?
Yeah. Oh man, that's always such a, how do I compress that? It was actually fairly easy in a sense of, with dancing, you have to audition 8-hour days, stand in line to get in front of Madonna's choreographer 3 days in a row, and you get yelled at and you get told that not the right size, shape, tall, whatever it is. And it's just physically demanding. You're always having to work really hard. Whereas acting, it's a handshake if people feel comfortable, and then it's like, do your thing, read your lines, um, and go home. So that transition was easy. Letting go of an established career that pays your bills to just sort of go back to like, I don't know what I'm going to do for money. I don't know if this is going to work. That was difficult. I had done that multiple times, having established myself in Germany, having a good career, having a stable income from the arts, to then go to London, have nothing, start all over again, establish myself there, going to LA, none of it counts. It's and then the same with acting. And it just seems to be a never-ending cycle of an artist's life, is that you start from scratch. That gets tiring.
I can only imagine.
Hmm.
Um, so your latest movie, Swap Me Baby, you produced and you also starred in. Um, what can you tell us about that movie?
So that is a body swap concept, and we had we got the okay on the financing, and my production company sort of does things a little different. It's like, okay, we have the financing. What can we tell? How big of a story can we tell while paying everybody fairly?
Mm.
Um, and so we had myself as an actor. We had Kimberly Lehmans, who was my baby mama, my life partner, as an actress, and she was pregnant. She was 8 months pregnant, and we were like, this would be fun to swap bodies. We hadn't seen that before, like more the adult story of what's a man going to do with a pregnant belly? How's he gonna, how's that gonna change him to be a mom, to feel that? And then on her part, my character is a French gigolo who loves life and who loves nature and who's very excited, and he's constantly tripping on mushrooms. In the movie, he's basically tripping mushrooms most of the time. Um, so we had this like uptight person and this life loving person that have to come to terms with each other to be parents. And yeah, it's a hilarious, outrageous, very big comedy that I hope a lot of people enjoy. And I think it's for becoming parents, people that like adult raunchy humor. We have some sex scenes. Um, yeah, it was a really, really fun project to get to work with my partner, my boy, which wasn't born yet, but he was there. Um, and to just do something that's so not what I'm used to doing and so not what people have seen me do. Long curly locks with a mustache and, very big performance. And I loved it. I loved every moment of it.
That's awesome.
Mm.
Did you get to improv a lot?
Yes, there's a lot of improv. I got to improv a lot. I got to run around naked in the woods a lot, which was challenging at times. Um, and I got to have fun. It was a very collaborative. How can we make each other laugh? Everybody on the crew, if anybody had an idea, they would throw it in and we would try it. And it was just very uniting. And it was beginning of COVID. I would say like when COVID was like at its most isolating for everybody. And we were together in this cabin. We rented out a bunch of cabins, crew and cast, and we kind of didn't hear any of the COVID world, and we just got to make art. So it was quite the treat.
Well, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And what was it like working with Kimberly to create a huge project like this?
It's amazing. It was she's my angel, you know, she's got my back, I got hers. And when you do you have kids?
I don't.
Okay. Do you want kids?
Not really.
Okay, okay. I don't blame you. It's a lot of work. It's not for everybody. But when you're pregnant together, and at least in our case, it's such a bonding time. And you'll see the movie. She's glowing. She's, you know, she's huge in it. I love you, baby. You look great. Um, it's just so endearing. It's I said, if nothing, this is the best home video I could have ever made for my family. Um, and she's funny. She's really, really, she's the funny one of us, and she carries that movie. It's really her movie. It's just amazing to see her thrive.
Aw, I love that. Um,
Mhm.
and you said that she was pregnant with your son, right?
Yeah, 8 months. She gave birth. By the time we finished, I think it was 8.5 months. She gave birth, I would say, 2 weeks after we wrapped, or maybe three.
Oh, wow.
And it was funny because there's a lot of scenes where she's on the ground. We body swap and we fall, we pass out, and then we have to get up. And in the beginning of the film, she acted, you know, she was like, "Oh, I can't get up, I'm pregnant." And then by the end of the film, there was no more acting. She said, "Guys, you get one take or two, or you have to help me up because I can't get up anymore." So it was funny to see that progression.
Um, do you plan on showing your son this movie at some point in his life?
It'll be odd. I mean, you know, just to give you an example and the audience an example, there's a very sweet quick sex scene because I was always like, why don't they never touch, like, no body swap movie ever touches upon the genders and the sexuality of it. But so you you have that scene where I'm like, how do I ever show this to my son, or do I show it not at all, and he'll see it and he'll go, "Dad, Mom, we got to have a conversation." um but I hope he'll see it, maybe at like 14, but if earlier, it's fine. I'm sure he's getting used to. We just did a film where we're opponents and we beat the crap out of each other, so he's got to get used to weird things that Mom and Dad are doing.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I hear that you become really passionate with indie filmmaking. Um, what ignited this passion and what kind of keeps you going?
I mean, I've always had my problems, my rub with the system of Hollywood. And when I say Hollywood, I don't mean a person, I don't mean a studio. I don't want to like vilify anybody because it's not that. It's just what it has become. But the idea that, you know, you're always haggling about money when like one person gets ridiculous amounts of money with the justification that it sells the movie better. But then in reality, those are all made up things. Um, and especially now in the age of franchise and the age of superheroes, I just started to feel a lack of interest in what was Hollywood was doing. I like stories, or I come from an era where I didn't know the characters. You know, when I Braveheart is one of my go-tos. Like, I didn't know Mel Gibson. I was young. To me, it was just this story I didn't know. And I didn't know, like, wait, they're gonna kill the love of his life, and then that's gonna make me care and go on this journey, and then he's gonna die. It was like this. It was this fresh story, you know. And you name him, Forrest Gump, like all these great iconic movies. They were all things that you couldn't do now, you know. And Hollywood isn't doing that. So when I started getting calls exclusively for Star Wars, Disney, this franchise, that franchise, and everybody was so excited about it, I was just like, that is not why I came to Hollywood. That is not why I worked so hard. And I railed and I, you know, bitched and I was frustrated. And then eventually I was like, you got to find your tribe. Um, and then I always liked the idea, just also, like I said, of fair payment, fair treatment. The story being the focus versus how much is it going to sell. And I think, especially now, politically, socially, we're in dire times. I really do believe we are all hurting. We're all confused. We're all, you know, grasping for hope. And not to sound like too dramatic, but I do think artists used to have the job of inspiring the soul of society, of giving hope, of giving an outlet when you're grieving, of giving all those things. And I personally have a hard time finding it on TV. There's so much content, but and maybe it's because I make this stuff, so I see how it's made. But I just see calculated, navigated stories in which the artists still are doing their best to infuse it with the love and the passion, the creation. And at the same time, I think we need a space now where no political mandate decides the story and what these artists are doing, but their inspiration, call it the universe, call it God, whatever it is, but their connection to that, and then out into putting all that inspiration into a movie is what we really need. And so I figured, well, let's try this on our own on a really small budget. I had to justify telling my patron, the person who gave us money, if you're interested in making money, like, I don't want your money. This is not, that's not what this is. You can, and we're hoping for it, but you should invest because you want to be a part of something. You know, you should invest because that's your talent and gift, and then be happy that these artists are making you a painting, so to speak, you know, and sharing that with the world. That was a really long-winded answer. Can you tell how I'm like, I gotta get it in there?
No,
I,
it's
I I want a space, and the real honesty, the real selfish, honest answer is I want to make my Braveheart. You know, I want that feeling. I want that collaboration, that creativity to come back alive, and I can't. I'm having a really hard time in general operating under the established systems. You know, I'm very frustrated, whether it's selling this movie, whatever it is. I'm like, how can I? Where are the people I can just be honest and authentic with, both as an actor and as just a person? So that's sort of my reasoning for really hoping to galvanize artists to be like, we need you to be unfiltered. Don't worry whether you're liked or getting canceled. You should be in the risk of canceling. That's your job. Your job is to have an opinion and say, all right, judge me. All right. Because it's not me. I was just inspired. I'm just telling you a story.
that was so well said. Thank you for all of that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking the question. I appreciate that.
Of
It's refreshing to get questions like that.
I always like to hear people's motivations behind what they do, and I really liked yours. So thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
So, with all that being said, are you really making it your mission to stay in the indie realm?
It's hard to say, you know. I feel like COVID, or I don't even think it's COVID. Whatever happened to the world when COVID started, followed by every movement that has been going on, every uh, disruption that we've been experiencing, just destroyed my old ideas of how things work, and I could no longer go back to them. So to answer your question, it's hard for me now to go beyond today. I try to stay really present every day. I meditate, I do cold plunges, I do ayahuasca. I just try to sort of figure out who am I today and how can I express that honestly, and what inspires me today to be of service, both to myself and to others. And I'm at a point now with trying to sell this film and my career as an actor, where I'm like, who knows? I found out that acting is my passion and my artistic outlet. I do a lot of energy work and trauma release work with people now. And so I just kind of sit quietly until a client calls, I get an audition, and then I just kind of check in whether it's the right thing to do or not. So my plans of success and making it big, or having a plan, they're all kind of gone. It's like day to day, just getting through it one day at a time and hoping for inspiration. I don't know if that really answers it, but
Yeah.
should I be the one to stoke filmmakers to do this? That'd be amazing. For that, I need the next goal is I've refused to not refuse, but I don't have the energy anymore to do a lot of work just on my own, like write the script that we shoot next or find the script because I have a kid and the bills have to get paid and gas is expensive. The world is a nightmare. So we need the patrons. You know, we need financially stable people that have a lot of abundance, that understand this concept, that understand when I say, look, you're you're not going to get real unbridled artistic expression and honest storytelling if you start out by saying, well, we need this star, we need this franchise, it needs to be this, and this. You have all these pre-created things in place, and then you try to tell a story. And so you're not going to really rock the boat. You might be successful, you know, you might make a great toy, so to speak, a wonderful toy, but I don't think you'll discover something very new. And so I think it starts there to find financially abundant people that want to support arts, which is why we call it patronage films. You know, back in the nights, you know, of Valor's days, there was patrons that said, look, artists are important. I want them in my court. I want them to entertain. I want them to touch. I'll take care of you, artist. Just do your thing. You know, jesters, they made fun of the king, of the current political figure. They
Yeah.
were allowed to and paid for by the king, right? Whereas now we're paid for by whoever is in power, by whatever is hip, by whatever, you know, the media portrays as good. You know, there's no more just, I don't know, let's try this.
Right. Right. Um, so with all of that said, are you working on anything else? Has anything any other projects like sparked that within you?
No, like I said, I have shot another film. I consulted on it. I consulted produced on it. It's called Recollection, also by Caden Butera, who directed our film. Very talented, very young filmmaker. Um, but as far as Patronage's project, I want to focus more. I like the idea of being able to go to a writer, a director, people, and saying, look, I can value you. I'm not going to ask you to write for free. I'm not going to like grab your script and say, when we become famous and powerful, we'll pay you. I want to have the fine. That was really important to me, the patrons, just sort of go, no, you're getting paid what you need, at least at this scale, right? Whatever the scale of the budget is, I'm giving you what you deserve. And so I've stopped trying to find the project first because I just have such vast resources. There's so many artists that I'm happy to read their scripts, and it's like, let's go once the value system is in place. So I'm hoping that I find more people like Charlie, who was our patron and who's also in the movie, Charlie Teal, who gets that. He's a person in the community that understood, yeah, totally. I have this money. I will not miss it if it doesn't come back, but I still want to do this. This is exciting to me. That's what I'm looking for right now.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, for people that do value the story first and value the artist, are there places that like websites or anything that they can go to help out?
I
I don't know if that
I
was a
should say, I should say yes. No, you're absolutely right. And I'll tell you on that too. I was so focused on trying to see if it's possible on the production of the film that I asked Charlie for the financing for that. And I'm not a business person per se in that sense that I wanted to create the production company and the marketing and the website and the 5-year plan. I made this film and then I was like, let's go see how the rest of the process goes. So the truth is no. I'm at a level right now where if you're watching this and you are somebody that values this, follow me on Instagram. It's just my name at Falk Hentschel, FalkHentschel, and just hit me up or write me at patronagefilms at gmail.com. And if you are a patron or somebody that can invest, hit me up. If you're a storyteller, hit me up. If you just want to support, follow me. And I'm at a place right now where I'm personally just handling the communication.
All right, cool. Um, all right. Before I let you go, is there anything else you would like to add about Swap Me Baby? Any of the recollection? Anything else?
I'd like to ask you something.
Sure.
Tell me about your job. What do you love about it, and what are you excited to do with it?
Oh, I love talking to people, and I just love the storytelling kind of behind the storytelling, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
so yeah, hearing
Well,
from
then,
everyone.
nice, nice. Do you have somebody that you dream to interview?
Oh, geez. Really anyone who's been in this industry forever. So like
That
everyone.
has the experience in the story.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, if you like the story behind it, I'll tell you a little bit about Swap Me. So, like I said, we had the money first. I just knew I wanted to try a concept where we have the money, we design the script around the money versus finding a script and evaluating what kind of money you need. And so we sat down and we had a Bigfoot idea, like an adventure, and we wanted it to be something big. The indie world quickly then goes to like four people talking, somebody's dying of cancer, or like very intense things, and the entertainment is takes a backseat to really good story. And I wanted to mix those. So we knew we wanted to do something genre. And we ended up on the body swap concept, and we started to write it. And it was always, a woman and a man pregnant, because those were the actors that we had. But the idea of the French mushroom tripping gigolo in shorts and a tank top happened the night before shooting because he was written kind of like a cool guy. His name was Jack. He was wearing a cowboy hat. He was just kind of like enjoying life, but there wasn't much to it. And I said to my girl, I was like, I don't know how we can identify the swap. Like, what about you can I imitate? What about me can you imitate? And so the night before, I was like, what if he's French? Because she speaks French. I speak a little French. We're pretty good with the accents. And then she said, you would love to be a gigolo. Why don't we make him a gigolo? And I was like, thanks and thanks. Um, and so, yeah, the night before, we threw out all the costumes that we had designed, and we went to sporting goods and found these ridiculous. I don't know if you've seen the film, but
Not yet.
when you see it, you know what I'm talking about. Like very short shorts, and yeah, Crocs. He wears Crocs the whole time. And yeah, we designed all that the night before and changed everything around. And then obviously the writing had to change, right? The writer, Jesse Lumen, if you want to follow him at Jesse Lumen, that guy was on set every day, and he had to rewrite the movie as we shot it, because with this change came all these other obvious changes that we weren't fully ready for. And so it was really cool to see this director who also the story behind the story. We lost our original director 3 weeks prior to shooting
Oh,
because of COVID. Actually, his wife, he had to take care of his wife, and Caden came in 3 weeks prior, and so we had this beautiful yet panicky environment in a good sense of like, all right, like what do we do? And it was extremely freeing. It was, to me, it was kind of like filmmaking at its best. I'd like to have more of a plan next time, but this is what happens every time you make a movie. It's like, oh, this doesn't work. let's fix it. And that's where the magic comes from. A lot of my favorite things in the movie wouldn't have been there without those happy accidents. You know, there's a little story behind the story for you.
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Is there anything else you would like to know?
Um, no, I think that's it. But
Covered it. All right.
yeah, thank you so much for chatting with me and for telling me all of this. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. You too. Sending you much love.
Well, thank you. All right.
Take care.
Bye.